The alchemist was the first to strike as the battle began. The archer was the first to strike, the first of many. Dr. Junkenstein blanketed the area with his bombs, and the archer was caught in the conflagration. By then, the doctor had gone mad, driving his creations forward, consumed with his need for revenge. Dr. Junkenstein lobbed his bombs at the castle, the explosions a percussive accompaniment to the sound of his laughter. Junkenstein howled with laughter as his bombs found their marks. It pained the soldier and the alchemist to see the Reaper, once their ally. He had been cursed, turned into a creature of remorseless hate. For a fleeting moment, the soldier felt a pang of sympathy for the monster. Owing more to luck than skill, Dr. Junkenstein overwhelmed the gunslinger. The gunslinger smiled. A worthy opponent had shown itself at last. But for the exhausted and wounded heroes, the battle was not yet over. In the midst of the battle, Junkenstein's most powerful ally appeared. Dr. Junkenstein had made a bargain with the witch, and she was not ready to release him. With one magic incantation, the witch brought Junkenstein and his creations back to life. The witch's magic made Junkenstein's creation more powerful than ever. The creature's body crackled with unholy might. The witch had returned the fallen from beyond the grave. Unknown to the heroes, Dr. Junkenstein had other allies. The alchemist fell as one of the doctor's bombs exploded at her feet. Dr. Junkenstein roared with laughter as he watched the soldier succumb to one of his bombs. A dark presence coalesced in their midst. The doctor's creation had been twisted into a monster bent on destroying everything in its path. For the moment, the night was still, but it would not last. The four heroes gathered themselves, knowing that the battle was far from over. The defenders had held the doctor's creations back, but they knew with a certainty it was not the last. And the monster fell just as his creator. Exhausted, battered, bruised, the four heroes entered the castle to receive their rewards. The Reaper fell. The enchanted pumpkin where his head ought to have been smashed against the flagstones. The night was quiet, and the castle was safe. With one last laugh, Dr. Junkenstein fell from the balcony to the flagstones below, and as the last of his laughter echoed from the walls of the castle, the battle was over, and the castle had been saved. The defenders were victorious, and Dr. Junkenstein's reign of terror was at an end. Another of the Doctor's failures, the Zombardiers, were mindless slaves that attacked anything in their way. Dr. Junkenstein's Zomniks hurled themselves against the doors of the castle. And as the witch fell, her magic had no more power. Dr. Junkenstein's creations fell lifeless to the earth, and as morning dawned, the castle was safe. The castle's doors still held, but they had been weakened. The door held for now, but the attacks continued. The constant attack had taken its toll upon the doors. The objective is being destroyed. The archer's aim was peerless, his hand a blur as his arrows flew, filling the night sky with their whispered song. The soldier was unrelenting, and his enemies fell before him. The alchemist's aim was unerring, her attacks exacting a heavy toll on the Doctor's creations. the enemies swarmed towards the castle. The soldier waited for a moment of tactical advantage to unleash his attack. The gunslinger knew that the time was coming. The archer could feel the wolf raging within him, howling to be unleashed. Oh! The doctor had created an electric tire that bore down upon the castle doors. The doctor's shock tire rolled toward the door. But the defenders made quick work of it. The gunslinger moved his finger over the trigger of his revolver. With a blur of his hand, shots rang out, each finding their mark. But the gunslinger sensed it was not yet time, and eased back. The archer unleashed a mighty battle cry, and summoned a massive two-headed dragon that devoured all before it. The archer unleashed a mighty battle cry, and summoned two massive wolves that devoured all before them. The alchemist's potion struck her ally. As it broke against him, his skin turned to iron, and strength flowed through him. The alchemist empowered her ally. Ah, if only she had a gallant, powerful knight fighting at her side! A waste of her alchemy, she thought privately. The gunslinger trained his sights upon his foes. The soldier squinted and took aim, each of his blows falling with impossible precision. The alchemist's potion empowered her ally. The alchemist had readied her ultimate potion, waiting for the moment to use it. The archer could feel the dragon raging within him, howling to be unleashed. A looming shadow appeared. Junkenstein's monster had come. Their enemies swarmed the castle walls, and the four heroes seemed powerless to stop them. The battle raged out of control, and the defenders were overrun. The heroes were in disarray as the doctor's creations swarmed the castle and pounded at the doors. The gunslinger extended his arm, and in a flash, his foe was stunned. Once again, the alchemist's healing proved decisive. But her ally quickly woke it. The heroes fought valiantly, but they could not stop Dr. Junkenstein and his creations. The castle fell, the defenders were slain, and Junkenstein had his revenge. The Zomniks crashed against the doors, but for now, they still stood. Boom! Boom! The Zomniks crashed against the door, their bodies exploding as the old wood splintered and shuddered. The archer saw through the eyes of the wolf, sensing the presence of unseen enemies. Soon the doctor's minions would flood into the castle, with the defenders helpless to stop them. For all the heroes' efforts, the doors seemed soon to be destroyed. With that blow, the defenders moved closer to victory. The doctor's creation swarmed over the fallen hero, having claimed their first kill. The alchemist struck first, employing a potion that burned the doctor's creation from within. The gunslinger struck the first blow, and soon the air was filled with the acrid smell of gunpowder. Without hesitation, the soldier waded into the fray. The defenders fought desperately, for the doors would not hold much longer. The archer saw through the eyes of the dragon, sensing the presence of unseen enemies. Despite his age, the soldier moved with a speed unmatched by the archer or the gunslinger, both 2 decades his junior. Amongst her many weapons, the alchemist possessed a sleeping powder. The end. Dr. Junkenstein vowed to destroy the castle and kill all those who had mocked him and his creations. Listen to my tale. I swear that it's true, of a mad doctor, his monster, and his thirst for revenge. Dr. Junkenstein laughed as his minions arose, for tonight was the night he would have his revenge. Dr. Junkenstein squealed with delight as his minions arose, for tonight was the night of... Dr. Junkenstein squealed with delight as his minions arose, for tonight was the night of Junkenstein's revenge. Though they may have been suspicious of the alchemist's techniques, the other heroes were grateful for her healing potions. The alchemist's timely intervention saved her ally's life. The alchemist's healing brought her ally back from the brink of death. The defender would have fallen if not for the alchemist's healing. The alchemist threw her sleeping powder, and miraculously, the Reaper fell. The alchemist unleashed her sleeping powder, and with a crash, the monster fell. The alchemist's sleeping powder put the witch in a stupor. The alchemist struck Dr. Junkenstein with a sleeping powder, and, for the moment, he fell silent. Without a word, the archer loosed an arrow and claimed the first kill of the night. Mighty blows were struck, and the doctor's creations fell like leaves in the forest.
Hey, Archer, what say you pass that flask around so we can all have a drink? This is thirsty work. You ever heard of Robin Hood? Doesn't seem to be any end to the monsters. Something tells me the worst is yet to come. Ronin? I like the sound of that. Not a chance. Just doing my part. It's high moon. It's time you met your maker. I'm trying to put it out of my mind.
A dark power calls you forth.
Just a little bit longer.
Those enchanted can never die. My servants never die.
Ooh, scary.
Alchemy is stronger than magic. Do not take too many chances. We can all survive this night. Our enemies approach. We cannot let them past. Lord of the castle cannot be bothered to protect it himself. I see. Restoring your health. Do not be too overconfident. The enemy's numbers are great. Keep your guard up. Well struck, Archer. Do not let up until the last enemy has fallen. My potions should be able to see us through the night. Alchemical boost administered. I have empowered you! Attack! It should not be long now. The end is near. My alchemical boost is ready. Go, and I will give it to you. I am ready to give you an alchemical boost. Alchemical boost is charging. Alchemical boost is almost ready. My thanks. Sleep! Good night. Our enemies are advancing. I could leave you to die if you prefer. You do not trust my alchemy, do you? We must stop these abominations created in the name of science. Alchemy is a science. Her magic is something darker. Indeed, and much of it unhappy. If we survive the night, this should be our last battle. Why fight for this, Lord? You have never cared much for the nobility. I once met a man who could summon a dragon as you do. What reason brings you to travel so far from home?